Alright, so let's do some line work for our little mermaid. So I'm going to go ahead and merge the line work, and I'm going to keep, I'll keep this, and then I'll just merge everything. What is this? Okay, so I'm going to merge all of this and get rid of that flower because I don't need it. I'm going to make a new layer above, and I'm going to lower the opacity of our original layer. That way we can draw on top. I will use Disney ink, one of my favorite brushes. It's a stock brush that I just tweaked to my liking. Of course, you can download all my brushes in the description. Okay, so let's get to some line work. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want to okay, it's looking all right. Okay, I'm going to try to keep everything really simple, but I'm going to try to move a little bit faster because otherwise the video will be very boring, I think. Although, I guess it's kind of good to see how different people do their line art. Do I want to do him on a different... I'm gonna do his lines on a different layer. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to name this one Mermay. And I'm going to name this one Octo. Okay. Make sure I'm on Octo. Okay, let's give him some lines. I'm going to do the eyes, I think, on a different layer. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do the eyes on a different layer. Because I don't match the color of the eyes with everything else. So okay, so I'm going to try to pick up a little bit of speed just so my lines have a nice flow to them. I guess I can do the lines together. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and just do the lines together. It's going to be more simple that way. And plus, this isn't like it's client work, so I don't have to worry about a lot of changes and things like that. Do her little fingers. Fingers have always been very difficult to kind of get right. But what I try to do is I just try to keep them simple. I run into problems when I try to do too much with the fingers. So I just try to keep them simple. Yeah, that actually looks better. Sorry, my screen like freaks out sometimes because I need a new iPad badly. Okay. So far so good. Everything looks pretty good. Line work is very, very important. Line weight and kind of knowing when to use more pressure and less pressure. Thicker lines, tapered lines. Okay, so far so good. I'm not sure how I want to do the suction cups yet. If I want to do the line work of each one, it's kind of a lot. It might be easier just to use. I think I'll just do them after the fact. Maybe. Yeah, I'll do them after the fact. Because it would just take a long time to do them all, and I don't think that I need to. Okay. Alright. I think I can actually... I don't like that extra space that's there, so I'm going to try to... You know what, I can use this to close it. I want to try to use the tentacles to close up that extra space. There we go, that's good. And now his little tentacle that's supposed to be reaching up towards her nose. Might be better without this large That's not bad. This might not have to go out so much, because the ends are pretty... Let's see if I can make this a little bit better. The ends of an octopus do come to a point, so I don't want to make them too rounded. Yeah, that's a little bit better. You want to give them personality, but I don't want them to be too much different than what actual octopi tentacles look like. I'm not even going to worry about if there's 8, because, well, now that I say that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can make another. I mean, I can make another one sort of over here if that really matters. I don't think it does. Or like down here. Or maybe just like the end of one. But I don't think it really matters. Alright, so now I'm just going to do the line work for her tail. So let me get to these eyes, which I am going to do on a separate layer. Disney ink. Although I might use it. No, I'll use the same brush. That's fine. Okay. I might actually just color those in, but we'll see. Like, I might not actually keep the lines. Oops. Something's wrong. Okay. So now for these other lines, I'm going to use a thicker black line, or a thicker brush. I'm going to use Sketchmaster. Does that look okay? Okay, the first problem I see is this line. So I'm going to go back to Disney ink, and it just looks like it's too... eye didn't feel wide enough. That feels better. Okay. Because her eye just shouldn't be that flat. And the other problem I'm feeling it's a little bit better. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go back to the other layer and I'm going to finish off the rest of these lines. And I can do the eyebrows later on. Okay, I think this looks pretty good for now. So now I'm going to bring this opacity up and just match the colors. So I'll take her skin tone. Whoops. Minimize that. And I'll just color this in. I'll probably speed this up because all I'm doing now is just coloring in all the bits of her that we're going to see. All of her skin, I should say. Oh, and her ear is too high. So I can clearly see that her ear is way too high. So I'm actually just going to edit this first. I'll go back to black. I'll go back to Disney ink. That way I don't get confused. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah, okay. Some things you just see better without the background, so it helps to change everything ahead of time, so your drawing will be the best that it can be. Let's see, so the ear would be kind of, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. And while I'm here, I'll just I'll give her head a little bit more shape. Okay, there we go. Let's see, I might need to do that with her head. That looks good. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my blank layer. Hold on the color so I can go back to the previous color. And I'll use a butter blade to color her in. Oops. Hopefully my head hasn't been floating into frame too much. I usually just, if I see it when I'm editing, I just zoom in. Otherwise you'll see my head bobbing in the frame like a dum-dum. Yeah, I don't like doing those like layer tricks, like layer masks, and what is the other thing called? Like a reference layer and all that stuff to color things in. I just don't use those. I just feel like it depends too much on things that, I don't know, like I move layers around too much, and I draw on certain layers and I change certain layers. I don't necessarily like the layers to be connected that way. Okay. It might be faster to fill some colors, but I then usually have to go back and touch up where it may not fill, and everything has to be like closed. I don't really like that, because sometimes I don't close things on purpose. Sometimes I don't want everything super clean. I remember watching a tutorial when I first got Procreate, and to color things in, the person used the selection tool and selected everything and then like colored it in on a different layer. And I did that a couple times, and I'm like, why on earth would I do this? When instead of using the selection tool, you can just color. And then you don't have to worry about accidentally like undoing your selection, and then you have to do everything again. iPad's actually doing okay. Usually it's like freaking out and not letting me. Somehow it fails to recognize my touch commands, and it can be really annoying when I'm trying to just rotate and it undoes over and over again, or it just like will stutter for like that split second, which is enough to kind of get you out of your flow. I can't stand it. I can't wait to get the new iPad, but who knows when they're coming out. I thought they were coming out the 20th or the 21st or something like that, but I thought they were coming out last month, so I was like ready at midnight, and then nothing happened, and I was like, oh, I guess I got some bogus information. But I don't know, I can't wait. Like, I hope I don't have to do the whole like waiting online thing, but maybe that's what. Maybe they make it so you have to do the waiting online for hours thing. That's what I'm guessing. They're just gonna come out, and I don't know, it's like first come first serve. I just want to order it online and go pick it up. but we'll see. I've never gotten like a brand new Apple device. This iPad is 6 years old, and when I got it, it wasn't even new. Obviously, I'm going to change the color of that part, but for now, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's just color in the eyes. So I'm going to make a layer underneath. And I'll scribble in some color. And then I'll just select the skin color layer, go back to the eyes, and then just cut it. So then it's just clean. The shapes are just clean. Oh, I didn't do the line work for his eyes. Poor little rascal. Let me do that on the same layer as hers. Faves, Disney Ink. Oh, let me bring up the... There it is. Lower the opacity so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Okay, let's do this. I'm just trying to do this all with the same brush. It's just not the easiest to like color dark areas with Disney ink. Okay, that looks pretty good. The other eye, that's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'll just color in his eyes as well on the same layer that her eyes are on. Oh, actually, let me do the color first. That'll be easier. So I'm going to do it on the layer underneath her skin tone. And he's purple, I think, in the last... Yeah, he's purple in that drawing, so he has to be purple. In the original one, he's purple. So I'll make him like a light purple. Butterblade. I think I'm gonna add Disney ink. Duplicate. I'm gonna add it to my stamp brush pack, because I mostly use the stamp brush pack nowadays. Just because I made a... Oh, this is the wrong stamp. Let's see. I'm definitely gonna have to edit all this out because it won't go to the right stamp. Yeah, it just won't go into this brush. Come on. There we go, finally. Now I gotta drag it down to where my other brushes are. Okay, good. Let's color him in. So I'm going to use Butterblade. Make sure I'm on the right layer. I can be messy where her skin is because then I can always select it and cut the purple, and it'll shape it to where I want it to. Let me get rid of this. Let me get a nice eraser so I can go back and forth and erase easier. It's small. I forgot to color her hand. That's okay. Trying to get these big swipes without having to, without going outside the lines. Okay. All right. Well, let me do the eye, so that is going to stay white. And I'll select this, go to the purple, and cut. Now I want to go back to that color and color in her hand. And I can do the same thing. I can be messy. Oh, no, I can't, because this layer is above. I like to be messy. I actually didn't check to see how big I was working on the canvas. I probably should have made the canvas bigger, but that's okay. Because I think I just imported it, and I think the original size was like 2000 by 2000, but that's okay. Oh, I forgot to draw her other hand too. I can draw that at the end. At the end, I'll just have to do something like this. I can just make a layer on top, and then just like something like that. Tricks of the trade. Okay, eyes. Let's do these. Okay. So now for her hair. Do I want to do her hair, or do we want to do eyes yet? We'll do hair. Hair you can kind of have some fun with, so I don't want it to be completely black. Okay, make sure I'm on a different layer. I want her to have like something like that. I'll bring the eye layer up. Ooh, you can see right through the eye layer. Try to get those details. Something like that I think is pretty nice. And for the top of the hair, it has to be on top of everything. So I'm gonna name this hair 1 or hair top, and I'll just name this one hair. Oh, I kind of like the black lipstick. It almost looks like black lipstick. That's fresh. I like that. So I'll go back to black, go to hair top, and I'll use a bigger brush. I use graffiti brush. So, ooh, something like that maybe. And then maybe like maybe something like that. That makes her forehead look kind of big here. I don't know how to. I don't want her forehead to be that big, so does that fix it? No, it's still a little scully here. I don't know what a better word to use. So I just need to erase a little bit of this, I think. I'll worry about the line layer, but the line later. But for now, hey, what happened to my trying to use the tools and it just disappeared on me. Here we go. That's good. And now I'll just get rid of the line. Erase this, erase this. I'll get rid of this color, and then I'll just get rid of this line. I guess I don't really need to, but I don't want to have it there in case it messes up something else down the line. I want to keep it as clean as possible. Okay. Oh, I love that black there. So I want to give a little bit of. We'll give a little bit of love to the eyes. That's the cat. Paw on the floor, like usual. Whoops. What brush did it switch me to? Soft airbrush. Make sure this is alpha locked. It is. And now I'm just going to just give the eyes a little bit of something, you know. And I'll still add my little shadow in there from the eyelash, but I just like to give the eyes a little bit of dimension. There we go, that's good. I'll do the same thing with his little eyes here. Because even that little bit of dimension is like perceivable. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Excuse me. Maybe you couldn't even hear that. I don't know. Okay, so what do I want to do now? We'll just make some, we'll give them some eyes. So I'll make a new layer above the eye layer. Her eyes were nice, her eyes were brown. So we'll make them a little bit darker than. Make the eyes clean. So I'll use a sphere. Oops. I'm on the wrong layer, aren't I? Yep. Never fails. New layer above. Whoops. Freeform, squash this down. That looks nice. So I'll duplicate this. Bring it over here. I'll just turn it. I always squint a little bit when I'm looking at these to make sure that they're right. I'm not sure why I do that, but probably because I'm blind. But I do squint. Something's not right with this eye. Let me try again from a. It's another thing that it does. When I try to do the selection tool sometimes, it'll like not, so like it'll select it and then it'll not select it. Maybe I need to go a little bit slimmer. Let's see how that looks. That looks weird. I think that looks okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I do have to delete a little bit of this line here. I'm going to name this lines. Because it does. Oh no. This is lines. This is eye lines. There we go. Okay. So go back to the eye layer, and what color eyes should I give him? Black or like blue, maybe. Maybe a dark blue. Hmm. That looks okay. It's not bad. I feel like that. So I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I just want to test out a different. I want to test out bigger black eyes. So if his eyes were big, oh, I think that might be actually cuter. Yeah, I like these. Okay, so I'm going to change the color of the lines now. So I'll take her and just use a darker version, maybe a little more richer. Alpha lock the line layer. I very rarely leave black outlines anymore. I did for a long time, but mostly just because I never thought of it. I never thought of like coloring in the lines or getting rid of the lines. The lines were just part of it. Which, of course, some art they're definitely needed and they look better, but I prefer my art without black outlines. I think it brought my work to a different level. What about the nose? Yeah, the nose is up here. Alpha lock that too. Can probably make that a little darker actually. I wonder if my nose is in the frame. No, it shouldn't be. Shouldn't have been. Okay. It's looking good. So let me change his lines. His I'll go darker and just more gray. Let's see how this looks. A little darker. Okay, now I can do all this a little bit faster, but I have to be careful because I did them on the same layers, so I have to be careful not to make too much of her lines into this purple color. Okay. And I forgot a little bit of her coloring. So let's go ahead and color that in. Oops. Okay. Okay, that's looking pretty good right now. So this is a pretty good place to stop for this one. I'll do another video with details and things like that, and eyebrows and shadows, and maybe doing this. But Apple Pencil's gonna die, so keep drawing. Catch you guys in the next video.